Woman from Spirit Lake has finally won her fight against the IRS. A year and a half ago, agents cleaned out Carol Hinder's checking account. They helped themselves to $33,000. They didn't have a warrant. They didn't even charge her with a crime, and Carol had to file a lawsuit to finally get her stolen money back. Kaya Gaussman has this story.
Carol Hinders learned the Internal Revenue Service took the entire contents of her restaurant's checking account in the time between breakfast with her grandchildren and her morning crossword puzzle. She hadn't been charged with a crime, but the two IRS agents who stood at her front door said they'd already seized her nearly $33,000 from her bank.
They started to leave, and I said, "What am I?" I kind of freaked out. I said, "What am I supposed to? How am I supposed to pay my bills? How am I supposed to pay my people?" And they go, "We don't know."
Hinders owned and operated Mrs. Lady's Mexican restaurant in Arnolds Park, Iowa for 38 years. The restaurant didn't accept credit or debit cards. Hinders deposited all of the cash and checks at the same bank the entire time she was open. When cash deposits exceed $10,000, banks are required to report the deposit to the federal government, but Hinders' deposits never exceeded that amount.
What the IRS said is that because she deposited less than $10,000 frequently, that they suspected that she might be trying to evade that reporting requirement.
Suddenly, Hinders was running a restaurant without any money to pay her employees. She said the only way they got through was because of the Memorial Day weekend rush in the Iowa Great Lakes.
The reason they don't have to read you your rights or advise you that you can have a lawyer or do any of the things that the Constitution is supposed to provide for us is that they don't charge the person with a crime. They charge your money with a crime.
Hinders teamed up with the Institute for Justice out of Arlington, Virginia. The public interest law firm represented her for free because they're currently advocating to get the U.S. forfeiture laws changed so these cases don't happen. Salzman, who works for the Institute for Justice, says the laws were originally written for drug lords, terrorists, and serious criminals. Hinders said just hours after the IRS took her deposition, they dropped the case. Hinders says that after a year of fighting the IRS while still running her restaurant, it's not about the money anymore. It's about the principle.
They came in and took my money. And now they're giving it back after a year and a half, but with there's nothing happening to them.
Hinders says most in her place don't have enough money or resources to fight for their money in court, so they walk away and close their businesses. She says she hopes her story will help change the forfeiture laws responsible for good.
That's Kaya Gaussman reporting. Now, the restaurant is closed now, but not because of the IRS seizure. Hinders was preparing to sell her business months before that money was taken. Representatives from the Institute for Justice say Congress is considering several proposals right now that would change those federal forfeiture laws.